In the headlines, 4 first-timers are through to the finals of the virtual Calypso competition. The Dominica Social Security celebrates 45 years of social protection for the insured and their dependents. And the St. Nicholas School of Veterinary Medicine opens its doors in Dominica. I'm Andrea Lee with the Channel 5 News, back with the details after this.
We are strong, we are resilient, and we will get through this together. But these are stressful times, and it's important to also practice good self-care. It's normal to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or afraid, but there is hope. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, stay in touch with your community, and know that you are not alone. We're in this together. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts, with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
Thank you for staying with us. First up, 4 first-timers are through to the finals of the virtual Calypso competition. Julian Morris has that story.
Following the semi-finals on Saturday, 15 were chosen from the 30 competitors to move ahead to the last round of competition. Among the first-time finalists are Nakil Walsh with her piece titled Business as Usual. Nicole Abia Christian Alfred is also through to the finals for the first time with her song Anu Pale.
Action.
2020 Road March King Charles Saw Isaac has finally made it to the finals with Hitman. And the 4th-time finalist is Gail Trinity Regis with his song Open Borders. The other finalists are former Monarchs Gregory Caressa Revere singing Little Thing, Denison Dice Joseph singing Water, Davidson the Observer Victor with his rendition Gratitude, Derek the Hunter St. Rose singing Same Thing Uncle Would Do, Tasha P. Peltier with Go Local, Daryl the Bob with his song Go and Love Your Neighbor, and the 2020 Calypso King Jude J.D. Deloney singing Calypso Kia Dai. The other 5 making up the 15 heading to the finals are Cecil Checker Burnett with Looking for a Safe Place in an Unsafe World, Abel Checo John Baptist with Annie Pale Sot, Derek Lugard Saint-Ville with his song titled Who's Next, and Jerry Oracle Lloyd singing Help Me. The finals will take place on Saturday 13th February at the Old Mill Cultural Center.
In more top stories, a church service at the Bethesda Methodist Church on Monday, the main highlight of activities marking the 45th anniversary of the establishment of the Dominica Social Security. Activities began on Sunday with an appearance of the director Janice Jacques Thomas and her deputy Augustus Etienne as guests on Prime Minister Skerritt's Anu Pale program. In her reflections during Monday's church service, Reverend Mona Christmas Fraser urged the DSS to look out for the vulnerable and to be grateful for its accomplishments over the last 4 decades.
As Dominica Social Security enters its 46th year, you are doing so in a world continually filled with risks. It is then important to continue being a trailblazer, marking well the trends around us. The coronavirus pandemic has only added to those risks already with us, and who knows those that are on the horizon. We don't know what the risks may be that may come to a family or to a country, but what we do know, we are living in changing times. You, through your mandate, must aim to offer continued help to individuals and families, especially the vulnerable, to cope with crises and shocks, to invest in the health and education of their children, to facilitate housing and to protect the aging population, our precious jewels. Today we celebrate with an institution that, through service and commitment, aims for excellence. And in this brief reflection, I can only encourage you all to look to the most excellent one, God Almighty. 1 Samuel 12 and 24 tells us to do this. Consider what great things God has done for you. And why hasn't God been good to you these 45 years?
In related news, 45 years is a long time, and that's how long the Dominica Social Security has been providing social protection for the insured and their dependents. Channel 5 News spoke with Director of the Dominica Social Security following Monday's church service.
And I must say, over the 45 years, many of our nationals have contributed and have benefited. And for instance, we have one gentleman who spoke in one of our a testimonial for Social Security. And as he said, he has already enjoyed more than $500,000 from Social Security. That is over time. And so it speaks of the fulfilling of the promise that was made when Social Security started to bring social protection, income relief for its insured persons.
Over the years, the DSS has had to increase members' contributions slightly to ensure that increases in benefits can be sustained.
It is working well so far, because you see, the Social Security program, when it started, it was always known that the contribution being collected would not be enough to sustain the level of benefits being paid, and so there's always this financing gap. So over the years, what we try to do is just close that gap a bit by having we're trying to achieve a 5% increase over 20 years. So very slowly, an increase of 0.25% annually, and all that is meant to maintain the balance of the system. So we have had a number of improvements to the benefits over the years, but it has always been a bit difficult to address the financing side. So in the past years, with the reform measures that have been undertaken, they were meant to address both the benefit side in order to ensure the relevance of the benefits being paid, and then on the financing side to ensure that you have financing, especially to go into the long-term benefit branch from which pensions are paid.
What one would consider to be very important is to looking into the future, the sustainability of the Social Security, and I'm sure you have been periodically doing what is necessary to ensure that this fund is there for the people down the road when they need it.
So there's no need for anyone to be worried about the sustainability of the fund. You see, by law, we are to have an actuarial assessment of the fund conducted every 3 years. And when this is done, when the actuary makes the projections, they are meant to push the system forward for another 60 years. And therefore, if every year you have the reviews done and the recommendations are meant to push the system forward for another 30 years, once you continue to implement the recommendations that are made, we should have no fear in the sustainability, the ability of the fund to be sustained to serve successive generations of Dominicans down the road. Because every 3 years, the recommendations are meant to push it forward for another 60 years. And if that continues to be done, then there should be no fear by anybody about the relevance, continued relevance and sustainability of the Dominican Social Security Fund.
Is there still an issue with employers not remitting, not collecting from staff and not remitting? Is how big of a problem is that?
It continues to be a problem. I wouldn't say it is a very big problem. It continues to be a problem, and we continue to devise ways by which we can in fact reach out to those employers and ensure that they meet their obligations to Social Security on behalf of their employees.
Social Security is doing quite a bit. You don't just only provide insurance, but in recent times you've announced assistance, whether it be through loans and what have you, for dependents or children of members and so forth. How is that going? Because I would imagine people want to take advantage of these opportunities.
Yes, our student loan program is going quite well. You know, we collect contributions, and in order to help us sustain the fund, we have to invest our excess. Whatever amount of reserves we have, we invest those in order to ensure that there is additional income coming into the fund. So one of the things we did is to introduce a student loans program which provides funding for the children of contributors or contributors themselves to do tertiary level education. So whether it's online, overseas, at home, locally, we provide financing at the most attractive rate on the market, 5.99%. We do not charge any processing fees, and so we encourage persons looking for financing for their tertiary level education to visit the Dominican Social Security. It's a double role. While we on one hand, we are seeking to assist in the development of the nation's human resources, we are also bringing in some level of investment returns to the fund.
Any concerns about self-employed people and they're making sure that they're securing their future by making their payments?
Well, everywhere in the world there's concern about self-employed persons and the recognition that they need to be part of Social Security in an effort to secure their well-being in the future. So we are still struggling to bring in more self-employed persons to the fold. I must say over recent years we've had some level of success in that, especially in the areas outside from town where we have community compliance officers based. They are in fact educating these people, and we're seeing a certain level of success in that area, but it's somewhere that we will continue to pursue to see how best we can ensure the coverage of everyone who should be part of the Social Security fold.
A very important week for you this week. You've had this service here at Bethesda Methodist Church. There's more coming up. Tell us a little more about that.
Okay, so just to say, yesterday evening, we had some of our staff members were on the Carlin XP show, and some people might wonder why Carlin XP, but we acknowledge she has a large following. And the aim of our celebration this week is to reach as many people as possible as we celebrate this 45th anniversary. So there are persons in the diaspora who need to know that they can pay contributions as voluntary contributors to the Dominican Social Security, even if they're residing outside. There are persons who have outstanding contributions, outstanding obligations to Social Security who are out there who need to know that they must pay us a visit, whether it's virtually or to meet the obligations. So that is why we were on Carlin XP. We were also pleased to be on the Prime Minister's annual Parley program last night, where we again gave out information with relation to the performance of Social Security. Today the service is the main function. This afternoon we attend the funeral of a long-serving member of staff, the first messenger cleaner of the Dominican Social Security, Ms. Vera Janet Joseph. Of course, she was 86 or so years old, but she was in fact she served Social Security well in her time, and so this afternoon I've asked the staff for as many of us as possible to attend Janet's funeral. Tomorrow we have the program tomorrow is where we meet with four of the most elderly pensioners for Social Security, and we also have talks with a number of secondary schools. So we'll be dividing ourselves into different teams in order to satisfy all of what we've planned for the week. So visit to the elderly, then visit to the talks to a number of schools.
Care packages will also be distributed to senior pensioners. In more developments, the St. Nicholas University School of Veterinary Medicine has opened its doors in Dominica. This is the first veterinary school of medicine on island. During its opening ceremony over the weekend, president of the school said this institution will provide several opportunities for Dominicans.
St. Nicholas University is an academic institution. We are not affiliated with any political parties. and we remain impartial to all political views. As with any new institution, it is only natural that St. Nicholas University will result in new employment, housing, and business opportunities for Dominica. As a simple example, we have several highly educated, knowledgeable, and experienced veterinarians in Dominica. These individuals are part of the inspiration for the institution, and they have all been offered a faculty position with the university.
The school caters to the international community. However, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, students from high-risk areas have delayed the start of their in-person education to September this year.
We could not let our guard down, as my promise to you today and forever is our commitment to the well-being of Dominican people. As a result, we did not allow our international students from high-risk countries such as Canada and US to join the starting class of January 2021. Their admissions have been postponed to September of 2021. We had anticipated the start of this term with 17 students from the Caribbean region, which was mostly sheltered from the impacts of COVID-19. However, on January 9th, several Caribbean countries were converted from low risk to high risk. In summary, we are starting with a much smaller class than anticipated.
10 students will make up the first class, expected to graduate in 2024. You are watching the Channel 5 News. Stay tuned for more after the break.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited Flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD, all for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
We are strong, we are resilient, and we will get through this together. But these are stressful times, and it's important to also practice good self-care. It's normal to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or afraid, but there is hope. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, stay in touch with your community, and know that you are not alone. We're in this together. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
Welcome back. Over $5 million to be spent on the rehabilitation of 2 primary schools in Dominica. Here is Julian Morris with more.
Contracts were signed over the weekend for renovation works on the Grand Bay Primary School and Will Strathmore Stevens Primary School. The project includes reconstruction of roofs, installation of new ceilings, floors and windows, electrical and plumbing work, among others. Minister for Education Octavia Alfred says the refurbished school buildings will also make provision for children with special needs.
Early childhood centers will also be in these schools, and there will be special accommodation for students with special needs. These are extensive works, and we thank the Government of Canada and our partners, the CBD, for this investment in the children of our country, Dominica. W.S. Stevens will cost the government $2,175,450. The new Grand Bay Primary School will cost $3,200,000. The efforts of all must be applauded. It will not go unnoticed, and we commend the hard work and patience of all.
Member of Parliament for the Grand Bay constituency, Edward Regist, says this investment in the education sector will help poverty alleviation in the country.
This investment in education is significant and timely, as it will enable us to develop more conducive environments for learning and teaching and many other activities that school buildings in Dominica provide. Now, it has been said that a sound education is a sure path towards poverty alleviation. And so I believe this $3 million being invested for the refurbishing of the Granby Primary School, and a further $2 million for the Will Strathmore Primary School is certainly an investment in poverty alleviation, not only education.
Principal of Granby Primary School is optimistic the new building will enhance student academic performance.
We expect that with our new buildings, there will be renewed sense of enthusiasm among the students and staff in a safer teaching and learning environment. We also look forward to longer teaching days, as we are now operating on a shift system with a shortened work hours. It is also anticipated that within our new walls, there will be adequate space for the inclusion of functional ICT rooms, staff rooms and kitchen, among others. It is my hope that the works on these projects will progress quickly and professionally as we aspire to return to normalcy.
The project is being funded by the Government of Canada through partnership with the Caribbean Development Bank.
Prime Minister Skerrit says it is disturbing that several individuals are not wearing their masks, giving the excuse that Dominica does not have COVID-19. In an address to the nation on Friday, the Prime Minister said the protocols ought to be observed on buses, in places of business, restaurants, and in small or large crowds. The Prime Minister says refusing to wear a mask is not a good practice, it is unacceptable and must be discouraged. He wants Dominicans to wear their masks and to do so properly, ensuring that the mouth and nose are covered.
Avoid public gatherings as much as possible. The recent surge of COVID in other countries is due to social gatherings. In the past, the local cluster of cases that we have observed was due to house parties and social gatherings. In normal times, we would have been preparing for another carnival season. The many activities would have already started, with scheduled fetes and parties all over the land. Well, it goes without saying that these are not normal times. It was clear for many months that any such celebrations this year would have been unlikely.
Mr. Skerrit says there was no option but to cancel Carnival, and the natural inclination will be to cancel such events. And there were emphatic victories for a number of teams in the Reno Construction and Kubuli Bear National Domino League over the weekend. National League Coordinator Delvin Esprit has details.
In Zone A, Wake Up Stars destroyed Hobbitasi by over 1,000 points. Scores: Stars 3005, Hobbitasi 1486. More Fire defeated Voice. Scores: More Fire 3024, Voice 2233. Rockers 3007, One Case 2715, and Focus 3006, Roadblock 2063. In Zone B, Enemies 3009, Sting 1554, Tremors 3024, Team Reynolds 2142, Warner 3005, Babdat 2110, and Kansgori 3000, Valiance 2696. And in Zone C, Goldenlands 3001, Taro 2343, Fire Services 3015, Bay Boys 1845, and Homeboys 3010, RC Construction 2703. Delvin Esprit reporting.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
We are resilient and we will get through this together. But these are stressful times and it's important to also practice good self-care. It's normal to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or afraid. But there is hope. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, stay in touch with your community, and know that you are not alone. We're in this together. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD. All for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
To end the news, the headlines again. 4 first-timers are through to the finals of the virtual Calypso competition. The Dominica Social Security celebrates 45 years of social protection for the insured and their dependents. And the St. Nicholas University School of Veterinary Medicine opens its doors in Dominica. Feel free to access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Andrea Louis, and to all of our viewers around the world, thank you so much for watching. Join us tomorrow.